Two Attleboro-based entrepreneurs are teaming up to explore the industry of craft brewing. Filmmaker Shane Uriot and Homestead Hard Cider owner Jeremy Quaglia have started an online web series called American Brewed. In the series, the two explore the many unique aspects of the craft brewing industry. They've been busy so far exploring the many facilities within Massachusetts and Rhode Island, but they are aiming to expand their reach for future episodes. Mr. Uriot spoke with us about the new series.
Essentially, I started homebrewing with my grandfather like 3 years ago, something like that. So I came up with this idea because I wanted to explore craft beer a little bit more, but not so much on the brewing side. And as a filmmaker, I thought, there's no better place to do it than on film. So I jotted the idea down in my notebook and kind of sat on it for a little while. And me and Jeremy were talking one night about some projects that I had and things like that, and I brought it to his attention, and he thought it was a great idea, and so did I, and we finally had the means to actually bring it to fruition, so we decided to just go for it.
Shane's a filmmaker, and I own my own hard cider company, so it seemed like a pretty logical melding of minds to create a film project about both worlds.
American Brewed is a free web series that we're launching that showcases the hard work, the passion, and the craft that goes into craft brewing. Basically, we wanted to move away from the whole hokey kind of point of camera, fake drama, reality TV type of stuff, and give a real honest portrayal of the people and the community. So we decided the best way to do that would be documentary style. So the show starts off with me as the host in the beginning, just giving a brief background of the company and where we are, and I hand the show off to the people who actually work there. And the rest of the show is driven by their own testimonies and their own stories about their company.
I had experienced the craft brewing community through Homestead Hard Cider prior to the film project, and once we actually started on the film project, I got to see it from an outside perspective, and I got to see how very symbiotic everything was, that each company supports the other company along with aiding in the brewing process with supplies and whatnot. They're also each other's biggest fans, which is really, really cool to see because there's such a small amount of the market taken up by the craft brewing world that if people don't really stick together, they're gonna fall by the wayside to larger companies. So it's really awesome to see all these up and coming companies sticking together and creating something really special.
Instead of acting like competitors, they take care of each other. One time we were at Mayflower and another brewery needed a certain type of yeast that they could not buy. So instead of trying to find it on the internet, they just went to Mayflower Brewing Company and they just gave it to them for a case of beer. Just because they were these guys are our friends and it's good that they just want to see the community thrive, which is a lot different than other businesses.
It's a pretty heavily concentrated area of breweries and up-and-coming breweries. Foolproof is just right over the Rhode Island line in Pawtucket, which is the first brewery that we actually filmed. They're making some really, really good beers. They've only been around a couple years and their success is already, taken right off. There's obviously Sam Adams in Boston, Harpoon in Boston, and there's a plethora of all different breweries around this area, whereas a lot of the other parts of the country, there aren't really a very high concentration of breweries. So we're lucky to be in this area because we get that exposure to all these awesome, craft breweries, wineries, and cideries.
Right now, since our budget's really limited, Jeremy and I are both paying for everything out of pocket, taking time out of work, and so is the rest of the crew. Right now, we're only working in Massachusetts and Rhode Island. Next season, we hope to expand throughout New England, and then hopefully the show will grow large enough that we can afford to travel to, Florida and, Colorado and places where the craft beer industry is really booming.
The next project we're working on is with Blue Hills Brewery up in Canton, Mass. They're a small brewery. They've been around for a while. They're pumping out some really, really cool beers right now. So far, we've done Foolproof Brewery in Pawtucket, Mayflower in Plymouth, and Jack's Abbey in Framingham. And each time we're definitely learning a lot more about the process, and we're capturing some really, really good footage. The episodes will be about 10 to 20 minutes depending on the size of the brewery and the story they have to tell and whatnot. They're just basically going to capture a day in the life of the brewery and the art behind them, and their overall story, because each and every place that we've gone to has had naturally a very distinct story, which is, it's not something we actually anticipated, but each and every meeting we've had to set up episodes with the breweries, they've told a very unique story on their own, which we couldn't have asked for a better situation. Shane's actually been blogging after each brewery visit, and he basically recaps the day, who we talked to, what we learned, a short little clip, and it gives someone a little insight into what the whole episode is going to be like.
So right now you can find American Brewed at www.americanbrewedtv.com. While we're waiting for the episodes to be edited and released, because they'll be released in September, and it'll be on like a TV schedule, so it'll be every week, the same time, same place. But right now we have behind the scenes little write-ups on our experiences at these places, so you can get a feel for how the show is going to be and what these companies are all about.
Other ways that people can connect with American Brewed is through our Facebook at American Brewed, Instagram at American Brewed, and Twitter at @A_BrewedTV. And you can see live action shots of what we're filming during the day, or the brewers actually brewing, live interviews, and just basically keep almost like a bird's eye view of what we're actually working on. So when the episodes air, you can say I saw the behind the scenes there.